What's up, beautiful people? Here to do a quick video. The sun just went down, so I'm using the light in my van. And I just want to do a quick commentary on things, cryptocurrencies especially. But lately, this past week, we had issues with the bond market, and stocks are a big question too. So if you remember my past few videos, I've been talking about the big mouth bass and how every asset in the investment world, it's like a giant pond and the big mouth bass is below the surface. And we are like bullfrogs jumping from lily pad to lily pad to try to stay out of the mouth of the big mouth bass. And the lily pads are each type of asset, right? You have real estate, you have stocks, you have bonds. And I believe that all those assets are going to crash. Bitcoin recently has tested my theory, right? On whether it won't drop more than 20%. It has dropped a little bit more than 20%. So I've been a little bit wrong. But I still believe that that is artificial, because I know that rich people tend to move markets so that they can gain access to assets cheaper, because they know that the average person doesn't use intellect when investing. They use greed and fear, and that's what mostly drives markets, because the masses are the asses and the masses are the ones who put cash into markets. The rich people are sitting there like the big mouth bass. They're another big mouth bass that likes to eat you up. They gobble you up, but they gobble you up in a different way. The governments tend to gobble you up by force. Like, they break all of the assets so that you sink into the pond. They gobble up the bottom stems of those lily pads so they sink really fast into the pond so they can gobble you up. The rich are the lazy little big mouth basses that sit there below the surface, and they just wait for the lily pad to drop, and then they come and gobble you up, right? So the rich people, and I'm not knocking rich people. I love rich people, because without rich people, you don't have the businesses, you don't have the jobs, you don't have the innovations, the goods and services and products that we use daily in our lives, and the food and all that stuff. That's all business people that make that. And everybody hates business people, and they want to tax them. They want to vote for the government to tax them. But the government is really the enemy of everybody, because the government doesn't produce anything, doesn't really make food, it doesn't make anything. It doesn't produce things that generate wealth, and it doesn't provide you with real jobs. I mean, the jobs that it produces, everything it does is parasitic. Basically, it taxes people. That's what taxing is. It's sucking life out of everyone. That's what, if you look up what the word tax means, or taxing, you'll understand what tax is. So if you're the type who votes for taxes, you really are stupid. You're suicidal. You want the government to kill you by taxation. You want them to make it so that you can't be rich yourself. Why anyone is like that, I never grasp. I don't care if you're a failure. If you're a failure in life and you haven't achieved any success, any modicum of success lately, doesn't mean you can't in the future. So why would you destroy any possibility for yourself by making it so that the government can come in and destroy industries by regulating them and taxing them? And then really, government supports big businesses and big wealth, because they know that's where their money comes from. The government can get campaign contributions. The politicians can get campaign contributions from all these wealthy ass people. And so it behooves them to destroy the little people who really are angry at the government, and to help the rich people who really aren't angry at anybody, because they're so rich, the uber rich, the fat cats, that they don't have to worry about what the government does, because all they have to do is buy the government. That's what was so great about Donald Trump. We all had a chance to have Donald Trump be our champion, because he was already rich. He didn't have to bend to rich people, because he was a rich person himself, and he was fighting for the poor people. But the poor people weren't intelligent enough. Again, they go off emotions, just like when they're investing, they vote that way too. And they let some of the things he says are blunt, and they don't like that. It hurts them. So they went against it. Emotion makes them cry, makes them angry. They voted by emotion, and they got him out. Some even wonder if they really got him out, if it wasn't the government big mouth bass people who have now disenfranchised everyone and stolen our votes and have put Joe Biden in. That's a different debate. And really, I'm at a point where I don't want to debate it anymore, because honestly, I don't care who's in the government, because I'm going to make money regardless. I'm going to succeed regardless. If it becomes a communist nation, I can succeed in a communist nation. I understand communism. Communists don't understand capitalism. They're failures, no matter what. And they'll fail in communism too. But as a capitalist, I'll succeed in either capitalism or in communism, so I don't care. But anyway, rich people like to lower the price of assets so they can get into them. Because honestly, everybody else goes into investments because they're afraid. They like stable investments. So the stock market is one of those stable investments that does this, where you can kind of predict where it's going. And then every now and then it does one of these big things and everyone's happy, and then it starts to drop. The government comes in and bails it out, and then it's basically sideways. So basically all you're doing is you're putting your money in there. You're not making any wealth. You were lucky if you were in GameStop or in AMC when the Reddit people, the Wall Street Bets people pumped it and got the shorts to unwind. But most people don't make money in the stock market because they don't have the patience to do the due diligence and to buy it cheap, to find out that the industry or the business is very strong and very powerful. And then when they buy it cheap, they don't have the patience to wait till it goes up, and they don't have the intellect to sell it when it goes up so they can realize that profit. So there are a number of reasons why a lot of people are poor when it comes to investing. And so they invest in crap, right? I don't put my money in banks. Banks are pay what point? I don't even know what banks pay anymore, because I haven't put my money in. I only put my paycheck in a bank, and I work only because I like to bring in an income and to put that on my resume, because I gain skills from other jobs and things like that, where I can put it on my resume. I can go to a new job and apply and get that job easily, where everyone else is struggling to find work. But really, I don't really need to work with my investments and income and all that. I'm pretty good. I'm well off, and I only work to supplement my cash flow. So, and you pay a lot of tax on it, but so mostly my money just goes back into investments, and then the other half goes back to the government, because the government takes half of what you earn. So anyway, Bitcoin, to me, what cryptocurrencies are, they're access to assets and places that most people can't go. If you don't have a bank account, you don't need a bank account. You can be your own bank with crypto. If your bank doesn't pay you interest, you don't need the bank to pay interest. You can stake your crypto and earn real interest. So if you don't like dollars, change your dollars into a cryptocurrency and then stake your cryptocurrency. Now, it's not financial advice, because I'm not an advisor. That's what I do. This is how I see things. I make 12, 13, 20% on my money. If I had kept it in dollars, I'd be making 0.1%. I don't know. That's a joke. And then also I have the capital gains when the cryptos rally. Now, you have to be careful, because when you stake a token, you can't remove it right away or sell it right away. And so you're subject to the market. So the best time to stake a token is when the markets have crashed. Like right now, Bitcoin has crashed. I bought into it. I keep buying into it. I keep buying Ethereum as they drop, and then I stake them, because I don't intend to sell them. I'd rather have them sitting there earning interest while I wait. And then when it comes down to it, if I really want to follow what Michael Saylor is doing, and the markets have dropped and I need to gain access to the cash, I'm not going to gain access to the cash in the way most people do. Most people gain access to the cash so that they can go spend it. So they take loans out and then they go spend the money, and they're in debt. No, what I would do is I would borrow based on my crypto, so I don't ever have to sell it. This is what Michael Saylor's been telling people to do. I take a loan based on the value of my crypto, and then I can go use it to buy more crypto and then stake that. So then you're compounding your interest, and any interest you earn, you can use to pay off the loan, because crypto loans are a lot lower than the loans you get from a bank. A bank is going to charge you, if you got good credit, somewhere around 7% interest. And on a crypto loan, no matter what your credit history is, you can get a 1% loan. And the more your crypto is worth, the more of a loan you can take, right? Because you're getting a loan to value ratio there. And so when a crypto rallies, don't sell it. don't sell it for profit. You can take a loan against it and then use that loan to buy more. If you don't have the cash flow to service the loan, the best thing you can do is buy low and then stake the coin. And then when the prices rally, if you want to sell some of it, transfer it out, like redeem it from the earn account, transfer it back to your exchange where you can buy and sell it, sell whatever amount you're going to sell, and then restake, transfer it back and restake, or restake it based on your exchange. Maybe your exchange pays the interest. You can stake it there. So there are a lot of things you can do with crypto, but crypto is access to a new world. And now they're tokenizing the real world. They're using oracles to bring information from the real world onto the blockchain so that the blockchain and the real world are in sync. And then they're tokenizing the assets. Basically, they're creating tokens for real estate, for stocks, for bonds, for gold, silver, commodities, for insurance. And basically, you're now gaining access to investments that maybe only an accredited investor could get access to, or a hedge fund. And so cryptos really make it for people who can't have access to stuff, get access to it, because they're creating things called synthetics. So now you can buy, instead of a share of Amazon or GameStop, you don't have the money for one share, you can participate by buying a crypto that tokenizes that creates a synthetic share of the stock, and you can buy a portion of a share. Where in the real stock market, you can't do that. You have to buy a share, or a certain amount of shares. It's fixed. But now you can buy portions. They basically divided it up and made it accessible to everybody. So that's what things like Robinhood and some of these other accounts that have come out allow you to buy fractional shares so that you can invest too and gain access. Really, you don't have ownership, because the reality of it is you have a divided interest in that asset. And when I was doing real estate, divided interests are the worst thing you can do, because you don't have control over the real estate anymore. You have to get a consensus of all the owners to do something with that parcel that you own. Divided interest is no good if you want control over something. If you just want access, cryptocurrency, there you go. Or derivatives, there you go. You don't have to own it. In fact, that's what these hedge funds have been doing. They don't have to own things to make money off of shorting it. Right? Before hedging came along, when you own an asset, you can make money on the price dropping by buying a derivative based on that asset that makes money when the price drops. And then you can sell that derivative and you still own the asset, and you lock in that gain from the price drop so that it offsets any potential loss you had in the asset that you own when the price dropped. And now hedge funds don't even need to own that asset. They can just short somebody else's asset and lock in the gains, and then they'll give you back your asset. With GameStop, they shorted it, it wasn't there, and then they had to unwind their shorts, realize the losses, and then they had to buy the asset back in order to do that. So they ended up realizing huge losses. That's why shorting is very dangerous. Derivatives are very dangerous. But cryptocurrencies are creating new derivatives, and derivatives are like the largest asset in the world right now. So anything can happen with derivatives going on, and any market can crash, and it can take everything with it, because capitulation is when people give in to a selling pressure in the market because they need the cash, and they begin selling also. They hold on as long as they can, but they're like, I need the cash. I got to pay my bills, and I don't care if I've lost 50% on my asset, I'm going to sell. And they drive that selling pressure even further down, and more people end up selling because they lose, it drives it down to like 70%, 80%, 90% losses for some people. And they just want to get out so that they don't get to 0% of their asset left. And so the capitulation is like the reverse of a short squeeze. Short squeeze is a capitulation as the price is rising. The shorts are losing money, so they have to capitulate and sell out of their positions. And it drives the price dramatically higher. A capitulation, when the markets are crashing, drives the markets lower. So we could have that because stocks are saturated. Bonds are saturated. I've been in bonds 7 years, and I just recently sold out of them because I don't see the Fed going into negative interest rates. And I bought bonds 7 years ago before the Fed was really dropping rates to zero. They still had a little bit of interest rate to deal with there. And I locked in a coupon rate on my bonds, and then the Fed started lowering interest rates, so that coupon rate became valuable to anyone who wanted yield. Honestly, if you really want yield now, you should stake cryptocurrencies. Like I said, I get 10, 12, 20% on my cryptocurrencies. And most bonds will probably get you, what, 4%? The bank will get you maybe 0.1%. I mean, there's really nothing much left in those other markets. So anyway, that's what I see happening. Bitcoin may be dropping in price, but the rich are taking all the supply of it. And if cryptocurrency is access, gives you access to markets that you didn't have before, allows you to trade and participate, when they take all those tokens away from you and you can't buy them anymore because the supply is gone, because the rich have hoarded all of the supply, they've cornered the market on the supply of cryptocurrencies, and there's no real rule against cornering the market. You could do it. In fact, you should be doing it. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying you should, because I do. I believe I should, and I do. I keep buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. And when they corner that market and people realize they shouldn't have been selling, that's when the price discovery comes in and the real price mechanism adjusts. And you start to see the price of the cryptocurrencies go sky high. Not to mention, a lot of people are putting their money in cryptocurrencies because they don't want to be in fiat currencies, because the governments around the world print fiat, and then they give it to the rich people to buy assets. And we're not seeing inflation in the markets yet. We're starting to, but we're not seeing it in the price of meat, in the price of milk, in the price of gas, because it's all in the price of housing, which is an asset, in the price of stocks, in the price of bonds, and the price of all those assets have been bid up. The inflation's there. All that money printing is gone there. And now it's starting to bleed into what we buy normally, because even the rich people need to eat the stuff that we eat. They need to drink the stuff we drink. They need to get gas that we use for our vehicles, for their vehicles, except many of them are getting electric vehicles now. So even if the gas prices go up tremendously, the rich don't care because they don't even use gas anymore. And so the poor people are going to get poorer and poorer and poorer as their expenses increase, and as their availability of assets that could make them richer disappear. And the rich constantly get richer and richer. The printing of money is stealing wealth from everybody. And so when the Federal Reserve prints money, it's communism. It's transfer of wealth. And everyone expects the government to transfer, like you hear Bernie Sanders talk about, we got to transfer the wealth to the people who don't have access to healthcare and da da da. Really, when they do things like that, all they're doing is they're transferring the wealth to the rich people. They're getting you to vote for things that are totally stupid, because you can't get free something that you didn't earn unless you're rich, right? You own the government people, and the government people are even rich. So it benefits them to vote in favor of rich people. Why would they ever tax themselves? You people are stupid if you think that Bernie Sanders, who owns multiple $1-million homes, is going to tax himself so that you can get rich, so that you can go to a doctor. No, it's not going to work that way. You're going to lose access to health care, and they're going to just keep their Cadillac plans where they all live forever. So reality, a lot of people need to start educating themselves. Stop being emotional. Stop being led by these politicians that use these things to stoke your anger, fear, and then your greed. Same thing with the investors, the investment advisors. Don't let them poke you and tell you what to invest in. Start thinking for yourself on what benefits you, and invest for things that benefit you better. And I can guarantee you, even if you're the type of person that doesn't want to become rich, you'd rather help other people, you want to be a missionary, it behooves you to become wealthy, because it's no good when you don't have money, because you're a beggar yourself. If you want to solve homelessness and poverty, become rich. As a missionary, it's part of your faith, your religion, to help people, it's better to be wealthy to do that than to be poor. In fact, many churches, I'm Christian, all the churches do is ask for money, right? They take a vow of poverty in the churches, but then they ask the congregation who makes money to pay them money. So money is necessary. It is a necessary thing. It's not evil. you know, the love of money is not the root of evil. Poverty or the lack of money is the root of all evil. People do evil things when they can't pay their bills and they can't feed themselves. And it takes money to do that. So really, people need to start investing in the things that change the world for the better. It makes them better. They don't commit crimes. And it improves everyone's standard of living, their lifestyles. We no longer will have crime if everybody's wealthy. Because if you're rich, why would you need to steal? Except to hurt the other person that maybe you don't like. There's still a reason to steal, but it'll eliminate a lot of the desperation reasons why people steal. So that's my message for today. Lights out, just you and me, intimate, focused. If you've stayed this long, I appreciate it. Click that subscribe button if you like what you hear. Hit the bell notification button and make sure it's on all so that you know all of the things that I post. Every time I post, you'll get a notification that I'm posting and you can hear it. And share with people you believe can benefit from what I'm talking about. But if you like it, hit that like button. That's for sure. And other than that, I hope all of you are doing well. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen in the economy because it looks like things are starting to crumble. And it's possible you want to hold some dollar cash because the dollar will rally if everything is crashing. So I am holding a few dollars. I am kind of slowing my reinvestment in cryptocurrencies. And I'm just staking and letting them sit there now. And now I'm gonna, any paychecks I earn or anything like that, I'm just gonna keep in cash. I'm gonna wait and see, is there gonna be a capitulation in assets? Because if that's true, I may be a stock investor again. I might become a bond investor again. I might become a real estate investor again if those markets crash severely and the dollar rallies versus those. So, so maybe you want to hold some cash. It's counterintuitive to what I've been saying, but it's always good to have a little bit of some assets because that way you know. Cash is always the thing that buys everything else until the cash is no good anymore. And at least last time I checked, I can still use my cash to buy things. So cash is still good. So it's always good to have some cash position so that you can purchase things and some cash flow. So with that, I love you guys. I hope you're doing well. God bless you. And until next video, bye-bye.